Go, baby.
Let's do this. We did it. We tried to schedule this last year. Schedules got all screwed up, but we made it through the snow to do this.
We did no falls. Last snow, I fell and broke my hand. That was fun. So, yeah.
Have you ever seen the video of Todd Hubbard falling on the ice in his backyard last time?
I think I have it on my phone, actually. Yeah. It is.
I didn't
know how to react because he showed it to me at a lunch. We were at lunch together, and I busted out laughing. I was like, "Oh, but that probably hurt pretty badly." And he's like, "Yeah, that did." But you laughed your ass off.
The natural oh.
Yeah, his sound. It's kind of the way I feel right here with this mic, quite frankly.
Man, he said that to me, and I was just like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, his fall was like, I don't know how he didn't break a bone or his back.
I mean, it looked terrible.
Yeah, it was not awesome.
But it was hilarious. I mean, I put it up on the big screen, watched it me and Jeff watched it 5 times.
Replay.
So, it's funny too. So he just built this brand new house.
Okay.
And he's got, cameras around the house, and he went out to throw something in the trash. And he's kind of out in the woods, like out by the Corps engineers and by this little lake and all this stuff. And he opens up his trash, and this raccoon just jumps. And then he's like, "Ah!"
And he got it again.
Yeah. He didn't fall. He didn't fall that time, but it was just another Todd moment.
For sure. And that's so random.
Yeah.
Like, you see that on the movies. Like, is that real?
Yeah.
And that's a T-Hub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened. Anyways, that was some gold that came out of that ice storm for him.
I know who I'm calling as soon as we get done with this.
Yes.
So. Or I'll be texting the request for the video with the raccoon. So.
Yeah. So it's pretty funny, but well, I'm glad you're here, man.
I am too.
This is fun. You got a lot of Dallas real estate history.
Yeah, I'm born here, so 49 years worth. Since my mom was actually a landlord office rep.
Really?
In the 70s and 80s. That's actually how I wanted to be get into real estate.
Okay, so what part of Dallas you grew up in?
University Park. So graduated from Highland Park, then went to UT.
Yep.
Actually wanted to be a real estate attorney.
Okay.
Believe it or not, because my stepfather was an attorney, so I was going to combine the two industries. Was a English major, so I could learn to read and write, because that was my worst subject. That was probably a terrible thing to do, because I did not have a fun academic career.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun at UT, but school didn't like me.
Yeah.
But then when I graduated from UT, I didn't want to work. I didn't want to grow up. So I took 6-7 months, drove around the U.S. skiing, snowboarding with buddies, and then ran out of money and was like, okay, I got to come home. So grow up a little bit. Yeah. And I gave my resume to, everybody I knew that was, a little bit older than me. And this is actually pretty funny. I was actually parked on the side of 45, just south of downtown. I assume I was north of I-20, so not a great area, in 2000. I think I was throwing up on the side of the road, and I was headed to Houston to be for a buddy's wedding where I was a groomsman. Phone rings. I answer it. And this guy's voice just goes, "Who are you and why is your resume on my desk?" And I wasn't in a great spot. And I was like, "Well, who are you?" And I don't know.
Yeah.
And it was Steve Berger.
Okay.
Being Grumpy Burger.
Yeah.
If you know Burger.
Yep.
And we talked for a few minutes. And he was like, "Hey, how quickly can you get here?" And I was like, "Well, I got a suit in my car, so 30 minutes. So I drove to the CB office at Lincoln Center, changed into my suit in the parking lot, and went and met with them. That was it. Yeah. So, there's more to the interview process, which was pretty interesting as well.
Sure.
Yeah. So I actually the next week showed up to interview with Rand Holman,
Okay.
who was the managing director at that time. But I just sat in the room for 45 minutes by myself waiting for this appointment that never occurred.
With Steve or with Rand?
With Rand.
Okay.
And they had forgotten about me because when I walked in the door, he quit.
Rand quit.
Rand quit. I think.
You're quarantined over in a conference room.
Yeah, and they're like freaking out. And so I'm sitting there, and I finally go up, leave the conference room, and I'm like, "Hey, ma'am, I've been sitting over here waiting for Mr. Holman," and she's like, hold on." And so a few minutes later, Mike Westfall, who's the number 2, he comes out, and he looks like a ghost. And I'm like, what? Obviously, there's something going on. I'll just reschedule. And so he's like, "Yeah, here's the deal. The Rand just quit, and I think he was going to Collier's, during the Collier's office. I think that was his next step. And so instead of Rand and instead of Mike, Lang Allen came and interviewed me in his second week at CB. So we kind of stared at each other a little bit, and you're from SMU, yeah, UT,
Yeah.
Played the name game. I think we talked for 10, 15 minutes, and then he was like, "Okay, you got any other questions?" And I'm like, "Man, I don't even know what to be asking."
Yeah.
I had
I don't even know what I'm being interviewed for.
Yeah, like literally, like Steve Berger told me what a doctor was. Like literally, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So, because I always wanted to do like office or retail. But like when Lang was leaving, he's like, "Hey, just one piece of advice. Don't take this job." And I was like, "That's
Weird.
and I don't know, were you joking?" Or I don't know. So when I showed up, I get the job, right? A couple weeks go past, you do all the tests and all that crap. And he looks at me, like, doesn't even say hello. He goes, "I told you not to take the job." That's literally the first words out of his mouth when I walked in my first morning. "Told you not to take this job."
Oh.
Yeah. And then we've been super close friends ever since.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what was the job?
Yeah, I was Steve Berger and David Easterling's, air quote, bitch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's literally how Berger referred to me. "Hey, bitch, get over here."
Yeah.
In a loving way.
So, so Steve and David, they're probably working all just Stemmons corridor stuff, right? It's all just at that time.
Yeah, it's for sure Easterling. He was the true street broker, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's literally going door to door.
Yep.
Berger had been transforming his business more into the corporate service world, bigger deals, a lot more true cold calling pitches, that sort of thing, versus the door to door type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So working underneath the two of those guys, I stayed with them for 3 years. My role with them was more transactional versus chasing business.
Gotcha.
So
surveys,
do all the
tours.
Yeah, and I would go with them to do the pitches. I would set up provide the pitch books and all that stuff. But they were really the guys out there chasing the business, right? Underneath the theory of have the gray hairs out there laying in the bigger deals, keep the younger guys back transacting, which at the time, like on the front end of it, it was awesome because I'm seeing big deals, little deals, all deals in between, landlord, tenant rep. I'm seeing it all. And we're between the two of them, we're doing, or I should say the three of us, 120 deals a year, something like that. So it was a great experience.
Yeah.
So the 3 years I spent with them, I didn't make any money. I actually ran out of money working for them. That's why I was like, "Guys, I can't afford to work for you anymore." I literally, that was the catalyst.
Yeah.
That literally, I ran out of money. I was like, "Hey, Rich Pogue was managing director after Rand Holman." And I was like, "Rich, I got to go off on my own." And he's like, "It's about time, dude. Your new cube is over there." And so then I did 3 years on my own at CB, which was awesome, super fun.
Yeah.
Good, bad, and indifferent. So yeah, but it was fun. Yeah.
So 3-year stint. So you're just out chasing your own deals.
Yeah.
I guess CB doesn't really have like submarkets, but guys seem to kind of be in areas.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
You have to be in an area.
Yeah.
I bet you, I mean, you have to learn a market. You got to be a specialist. That's what you did.
Yep.
The Robert Lynn model,
Yep.
the Mercer model,
Mm-hmm.
those models work.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that I pick up the phone and I'm like, hey, I didn't want to know what those 4 people are doing, tenants or landlords or whatever. Those are the guys that know it. The guys that are sitting in the corporate service jobs, they don't know that detail.
Yeah, they're well, I've always kind of thought of corporate service guys as like almost like an account manager.
Yeah.
I'm not in a derogatory sense. It's just like it's an account and you have however many deals across the nation that you're trying to manage.
Yeah.
For someone. I mean, when a tenant gets to a certain scale, they just,
You've got 100 transactions a year.
Yeah.
You treat it differently.
Yeah.
You have to. You physically have to.
It's just it's a different model. I always joke with Mark Collins about this, and he made a good point to me one day. He said, I said, oh, you got another 150,000 foot inbound tenant rep assignment. He goes, hey man, you get to work on buildings you could actually. I was like, well, that's a fair point. So.
Dude, there's trade-offs and
there's trade-offs in both,
them.
Right?
That corporate service model, bigger deals, bigger paydays,
potentially.
Sometimes
they get diluted.
They usually are pretty well diluted. I know they were.
Yeah.
When I was a part of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember I had a ton of deals where I did 100% of the work and I took home 100% at the end of the day.
Oof.
Yeah. And
That's deflating.
Yeah, but you gotta, you're learning.
Yeah.
So like today,
mm-hmm.
there's not a chance in hell I would do that.
Yeah.
But back then it's pick your poison. I'd rather have more transactions so I could learn than the money.
Mm-hmm.
So, although eventually you got to have some money because you do have to feed the system.
Yeah.
Right? Your own personal wealth.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's weird from being on the submarket specialist. Like you kind of covet the national account. You're like, oh man, I need to get in a national account. Like I can do those deals. You know what I mean? But then like, it's weird. It's like anything, right? You always think the grass is greener on the other side. And, so it's something I always struggled with. At one point in my career, I just kind of came to the point. I was like, if they're like corporately represented, I'm not even going to call on
Don't
it
try
anymore.
it.
It's like
you and I've had that conversation a bunch. I mean, you're just not going to get it. There's also that check mark that comes along with the big boys.
Yeah,
it's my get out of jail free
Safety.
card if something comes out, and that's probably the majority of it. I mean, there is volume. That is a big portion of it too, but having that CBRE name on there and going, I hired the best. What do you want me to do? It didn't work, or there was a problem. That's an insurance policy.
So I'll just say this. We can cut this if you don't want to say this, but we have a funny story about this.
Okay. What is it?
You're building on Regal Row. The 60,000 foot building on Regal Row that had the land taken by TxDOT.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I remember I always called you on. I was like, hey man, let me list this for you. Like, and you're like, hey man, because it sat vacant for a long time, right? Because I think it's a TxDOT stuff or you had
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. They moved FedEx. It ruined the building for FedEx.
Yes.
FedEx went and built another building, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
So, I remember I was just calling you on it and, I said, you go, hey man, look, Clint Riley's done a ton of work on the TxDOT thing for me. So when it comes time, he's gonna get it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I forgot about all this.
I was like, hey man, I get it. I understand. I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember I used to eat my lunch on the back of my car and take videos of myself in front of your building and send it to you?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah.
And
the first time I got one, I was like, what is going on here?
And so when you finally got out of your deal with TxDOT and got that settled, it was time to put the building on the market, and Clint Riley had left brokerage. And I was like, all right, I'm up.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I'm going to interview you. You get an interview.
Yeah.
But I remember you gave it to CB. it was that, you know, I understood it, you know.
That was it. Yeah. And Easterling,
Mhm.
you know, I'd worked on that building with Easterling
Yeah.
since 2000.
Oh yeah. No, but you know, but I did get a listing when I sold y'all a building.
Yeah. Which is
Still.
the way we do it.
Yeah. So,
And that building's performing wonderfully.
yeah,
And
man,
exactly the way you thought it would.
we crushed it with Fleet Pride up front. That was,
Mhm.
timing was like,
It was literally in the investment book.
Yeah.
We need this type of tenant to come here, Fleet Bride, and the next thing they showed up.
yeah.
I was like, I don't know how you made that happen, but it did.
Oh,
I actually always question myself whether or not you knew that was going to happen or
Yeah.
that there was a possibility for it.
I don't know.
Because it was
I can't
so
remember.
perfect.
Yeah, it was just
Like-
timing. Yeah, that happens, man. You catch. That's the business, right? Sometimes you just get your teeth kicked in, and sometimes you just
You
know,
you can hit the easy button every
you
now and
can't
then.
hit the easy button every
Yeah.
now and then, and or just flawless execution.
That's how you should present it from now on.
Yeah.
Flawless execution.
But you know,
And
that's
that one
just-
was not, because nothing else with that deal.
Oof.
That seller, you warned. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
No way. Holy cow. I'd never seen anything like it.
You want to hear something funny? So he owns a building in Houston, and he wanted me to list it. It was like this part of Houston's like a West Dallas redevelopment area.
Okay.
And you know, he's, you know, I mean, people are people, right? People are all comes in all kinds of shapes and sizes. I felt like I was like his whisperer, right? I could like get to him.
Yeah.
Be like, hey man, this is what we need to do. And he would listen to me. So anyways, I listed the site in Houston for him. And I was like, man, that's just, you know, it was a redevelopment deal. So I was just like, you know, I don't have to tour the building, so I'll put it up for a while. And he really wanted me to do it. I was like, man, this isn't what I do. So anyways, finally I called around down there and I was like, hey, who's the guy for this? And I get the guy. And I was like, hey, man, I want to refer this to you. I go, I think you're going to need me on it to get it done.
Just to have conversations.
I go, I'm telling you right now, you're going to need me, and I want 50%. And he goes, we don't do that. I said, okay, you want it? Cool. So you can give me like a 25% referral fee. I was like, it's all you, bruh.
Fun.
He sends me an email. Says, hey, man, we got a quick deal. Got this thing lining up. We're going to get it done. I said, cool. I followed up with him 30 days later. I go, hey, man, so where you at? He was like, I could just see his face on the other side of the phone, just like demoralized. Like, I was like, yeah. I go, so you remember when I asked you for 50%? This is why.
Did he come around?
No.
He's
He's like, man, could you call him? I was kind of like,
for 25% more?
I mean, and when I call him, it's a 1 to 2 hour conversation. Like, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So, but you know, I don't think it's sold. I haven't followed up. I need to follow up. But this was a couple months ago.
This is
recent. And so I need to follow up, see, because like, but I told that guy, I was like, hey man, like I told you.
Is
You
what it
need to
is.
know.
Yeah.
But I guess the moral of that story is that, man, I think sometimes people, and this guy was a smart guy, but he ended up with a lot of real estate from his father passing. And it's like, when you get something like that, it's like, you don't want to mess it up. You don't want to look back and think you messed it up. And I think that's just what he was trying to protect all the time. And you know, and I respect that. And so that's where I earned his trust, being like, no, man, like you need to, you know, because he'd be like, oh man, maybe I fix these buildings up. And I mean, they were like, yours was severely.
There was a lot of fix up on that one.
You should have seen some of the other
Yeah.
ones I sold.
Yeah.
And
You put one of them down the road
Yep.
toward more
sold that one to
towards
Stone Lake.
downtown. You put it in front of me. I was like, dude, No,
I ain't got the gas
I'm
on that
not.
one.
I'm out.
You want to do this again?
No.
I sold that one to Stone Lake, and then I sold one in Fort Worth to a user. But I mean, it was just a lot of. It's tough. It was a tough. It was tough for him to get through, making sure he's making the right decision.
Right decision. Yeah, and if you're not in real estate, or it doesn't matter, pick whatever industry it is. If you're not an expert in it and you're having to rely on somebody else that you don't really know,
Yeah.
you don't have that trust.
Well,
You're
I mean,
going to question everything.
This was $10 million worth of real estate. It's like,
so it's real.
It's real.
I mean, that it goes to like what we do every single day. It doesn't matter what aspect your role is. If you don't have trust, like in your team, the people you're working with, working for, it doesn't work. It literally doesn't work. I mean, every situation I've ever been in, every job, every deal, that's one of the first conversations you have is you got to trust your team. And that's been drilled into me from Mike Lucht. I mean, that's what he told us every single day when I started at my current position. Is you got to trust the room, trust your team. You're not by yourself, and you're not by yourself for a reason.
Yeah,
right. Because we're all good at what we do.
Building a team has been something that I've had to really perfect.
And totally new for you, right? Well, not totally new. You had some other.
I was always a lone ranger. I was not a good teammate as a broker.
Well, you shouldn't be, quite frankly, especially as a true air quotes street broker.
Yeah.
You're not. There really isn't a team.
No,
and that is all I. So.
That's been a big mental shift for me, is having to like really be coach now
and release
but
it's super fun when you get there,
man. When you're getting like, I see it, like I see it fixing to like really start clicking, and I'm like, man, this is gonna be sweet. Like we're gonna be able to do a ton more, and so that's exciting. So.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Right. And you see these younger people go from here to here to here to here and, become you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty fun.
Yeah. No, it's cool. So, okay. So CB.
The CB, 6 years there.
6 years.
Yep.
Then what made you leave CB?
So I was always on I should say the majority of my business was on the ownership side. So landlord side of the business. So I looked like I was 12, like literally 12. I don't even think I was shaving at this point in my life. And I would go pitch tenant rep, and I couldn't win the business.
Tough to win it.
Like they would literally say, hey, man, what you're saying, I agree with, but I can't give you the business.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I've got it. I had a deal. This was actually, I almost left the business. I think it was my second year, so I'm still with Berger and Easterling. And the deal was if I had extra time, I could go out and chase deals. So every now and then I would get enough time I'd go knock on doors.
Yeah.
And I went and knocked on this guy's door. He's a pretty in operation, I think on Diplomat.
See? Diplomat.
Thank you, Diplomacy.
Yeah.
30-ish thousand feet. He thinks he needs 50. And I'm like, sweet, right? It's pet. Yeah. And so I go through 6 months of work with this guy, all this data on getting his cost to move and power. So, I mean, it's a considerable amount of time with all this stuff. And we sit down, I've got the book, and I'm like, okay, this is what we need to do. And here's the 3 buildings and blah, blah, blah. And get done with that. And he's like, Matt, everything you're talking about, you're right. But I can't have you represent me. And he ended the conversation with, when you start to shave, you can represent me. Like legitimately told me, come back when you grow hair on your face. And I was like, my dad doesn't even freaking shave. So I'm screwed, right? Like there's no way I can get around that. And I remember I got in my car and I just busted out crying. Like didn't drive away, just closed the door and was sobbing in my car. And I called up Berger and was like, hey, dude, I'm quitting. Like this, I'm giving you my 2-week notice right now. I'm done. I can't make it in this business. He's like, what's going on? You know, Steve seems like can be, or back in the day, he was a hard ass.
Yeah.
He is not.
No,
when it comes down to it, he is.
Yeah.
He is got your back. So he talks me off the ledge and he's like, just go home, get a beer, and I'll see you in the morning. Right. Well, I go to the grocery store, buy a steak and probably an 18-pack of beer, pontificate for the night, wake up the next morning, put my suit on, drop some NACCAR documents, and go downtown. So the office is at Lincoln Center, but I go downtown and I go sit in this attorney's office who owns this guy's building. And she's like, you know, I don't remember, let's call him Bob. I'm like, you know, is Bob here? And she's like, no. I'm like, I'll wait.
Is this Mark Truan?
Man, I don't remember.
Primary Color?
Sure.
And it was Nelson Spencer was the attorney that owned it?
No, because we represented a bunch of Nelson's buildings at that time.
Okay.
So
I was just thinking, like, it sounds like
actually, and I ran into Nelson last year at Central Market. I was like, Nelson, hey, how are you? And he actually remembered me. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. But no, this is just some like West Texas attitude, old school, like, what are you doing in my office? So I sat there literally for like 5 hours, like just sitting there. And so when he finally lets me into his office, I'm like, hey, here's the deal. I'm a broker and I'm going to make up some numbers. You're a tenant in this building. I think I can raise his rent. He's like, you know, my family's owned the building for 2 generations. You know, I don't need a broker. And I'm like, okay, how about this? If I can't double the guy's rent in 24 hours with a signed document in your hand, you don't have to pay me. And he's like, what's the catch? I'm like, there is no catch. If I don't come back to your office in 24 hours with a executed lease renewal that is twice what he's paying right now, then don't pay me. But if I do, you're paying me 4%.
Yeah.
Not 6%, 4%, right? Very reasonable. This is a gross deal, right?
Sure.
So I had the NACCAR document already drawn up, so numbers, $3 gross at the time. Messed up just to thinking about it. Yeah, and so the document is at $6, somewhere right around there. So I get back in my car. I have a handshake agreement with this attorney. I drive back to this printer's office. They let me in immediately. And the guy's like, hey, Matt, I didn't expect to see you back here so quickly after the end of our, you know, how yesterday ended.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I thought about it a lot. So since you won't let me represent you, I wouldn't talk to the landlord. And now I'm representing the landlord on your renewal. You know, remember, I've got his whole book. Like I've been working on this deal for months. And so I'm like, so boom, here's your renewal. You can sign it or not sign it. It's up to you, but the offer's not changing and you can't move. We've decided that you need to stay put and just renew, blah, 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 whatever. And he's like, he signs the document.
Wow.
Hands it back to me and goes, well, I guess you're shaving. Yeah. And I went, yeah, I am.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
So then I literally went right back to the attorney's office downtown, handed him the document. Once again, he's white now because he's like, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah.
And he wrote me a check for 4% of whatever that was right there on the spot. And I went back to the office and was like, Berger, here you go. I'm back. I'm not leaving. Yeah. So that's what's kept me in the business. I kind of screwed that guy. I don't feel overly awesome about that. But
no, he sucked you for a ton of information and then said, hey, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. In a very rude manner.
That is
by the way.
Genius. That actually might be one of my favorite stories someone has told on here.
That's 18 beers.
Fuck yeah, man. Yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Oh, God.
And all good. Done in one day.
Yeah.
Like,
that is legit.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
God, that's an awesome story. That might be one of my favorites.
But so that led to my decision making on getting control.
Yeah.
Right. So you have more control over landlords typically than you do the tenant side of the business. Usually you're trying to represent landlords that have multiple properties, right? So they're usually, you're dealing with a real estate professional, which is a lot easier once you get in the door. And so knew that was going to be occurring. Buddy Lang Allen had already left CB, was at a company called Weingarten Realty, which is a REIT, but 20% a retail REIT, but with 20% industrial. That was a super awesome portfolio. You know, like
Yeah, they had some great buildings.
2.2 million square feet with like 200 and something tenants. So there was a couple doozies in there, but it was a bunch of 2000. It was renting apartments.
Yeah.
So when they called me up, I was like, yeah, I'll come over, but you got to sell these two complexes, Walnut Trails, North Haven.
Yeah.
And they called me up a couple months later and like, hey, we got them sold. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll be over in a couple of days. And I got to, close shop at CB and did that, literally turned in my resignation at CBRE, which hurt because the company's awesome. I love that position, loved all the people. They're and they're still great people. And most of them are still there.
Yeah.
But when I turned in my resignation, then I think Scott Bredehoft was the actual asset manager at that point in time. Lane took over that market shortly thereafter. Yeah, Scott called me up and was like, hey, we got a problem. We didn't close on North Haven. They just did Walnut Trails, which Walnut Trails was the worst of the two.
Yeah.
Like it had like 60 tenants and they were a bunch of rub-a-tub type shops. It was terrible. So I ended up having to lease one project that was not awesome, but that took 6, 7, 8, 9 months, something like that, for us to dispose of that one.
Yeah.
So, and then the rest is history. So got control. Lang and I truly operated on a playbook, right? Get your budget set for the year. Okay, I'm going to go get $3 a foot on whatever real estate, whatever the number is with this amount of TI. And then literally, you let me go do it. So his suggestion was get after it, whatever. As long as it's inside the box, don't call me, right? If you need to go outside the box, call me, which is how I operate to this day. I learned it from him.
Yeah.
Diving into all the TI type stuff, construction management, which I'd never really done.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of it, but it doesn't make you money,
No.
right, when you're a broker. So
Right.
you try to stay out of it. But at Weingarten, it was me and a property manager, and I thought I had an MBA in real estate when I showed up. I didn't.
Yeah.
I learned real fast. I learned how to say no. Just
Right.
flat out, no, we won't do that.
Yeah.
And I remember that lease document for Weingarten was actually a retail shopping center lease modified to industrial.
Yeah.
So, like the first sentence said shopping center at address of, and it said shopping center. I mean, it had percentage rents in it and all that stuff. And they'd want to strike them. And we'd be like, no, you're 1,200 feet. You don't get a change.
Yeah.
We changed the document by adding your name. That was it.
Yeah. That's what we do on Small Bay. We've got a 5-page lease. I literally we started this week, so what a week to start, right? It's like, but I was like, we need a full-time Small Bay leasing guy because we have enough product now where like,
oh, that's awesome.
So, in most fairness, guys that sell us those things, they act like they want to do the leasing, but they don't. So it's really an in-house leasing product. So
if you want it done, it needs to be.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always those stories of just giving said broker, just go get it done. Literally just say, go get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never heard. I mean, yes, there are good stories here, but man, that's when mistakes happen.
Yeah.
When you're the landlord, it's different. Mistakes are different. You don't get to walk away.
No.
You got to stay in the battle.
Especially when you got a personal guarantee on a note too.
That a whole nother dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're fixing to take down these 2 parks, and I was like, we have to have someone go do this. And like, I was like, and so found a great candidate, did industrial for 3.5 years in San Antonio, took a break for a couple years, really wants to get to this side. And I was like, all right, man,
Let's go.
you going to eat it on this for 2 years, and then we'll work you up through here, But that's where, we can make money in those parks, but you have to be set up properly to do it. So, and I think that's a key to it.
Yeah, and just make sure he knows the power of no.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, then that same thing, too. I was like, you're going to have printed out leases in your car. You can, here's what the ask, here's the floor. Go get them.
Yeah.
Like,
How about it?
Bring it back signed
Dude.
with the check.
I remember those days of not having to have attorneys involved, like Morewood, Suite B. It was like an 8,000 square foot space. Tenant's Bev Tech. Tenant rep broker is Nathan Denton. And I think this is when Nathan was at Henry S. Miller. I know it was. Nathan was at Henry S. Miller. We literally toured the space. We filled out the NATCAR document on the hood of my car because I had a box of just blank leases. The tenant signed it, first month's rent, security deposit. And, and I'm doing all this. I'd been doing it for a lot because of just my team at CB with Berger and Easterling. So I knew how to fill out all the paperwork. And I'm watching Nathan. He's just sitting there with a grin on his face because we're doing all the work.
Yeah.
And he's like, is it done? I'm like, well, I got to go get it signed by the Camphies who own the property. It's now owned by Stone Lake.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, well, that's my first deal. And I'm like, no shit. Yeah. So we signed his first deal on the back of my Honda Accord.
That is funny.
Yeah.
That is funny. Well, that's we met when you were running all that wine garden products right there on Leston.
Yeah.
And
King of the 2,000 square footer, man.
I
It was
would
awesome.
slam them in there. That's when I was like, come on.
Make it easy.
Well, that's when you're working in a submarket, I always say, like, man, become friends with all your brokers because, man, like,
If you don't, you're toast.
you're toast. And so, like, I knew when I could read a tenant, I could be like, I'm going to take you to a wine garden building. We're going to walk in there. Matt's going to tell them exactly what they'll do and what they won't do.
Yeah.
And,
Right there.
And we'll make a deal, like, quick. Like, and so that was always refreshing, right? It's just like I had the same pitch to tenants for Wiley Brothers. I'm like, I'll show you their space. They will give you 1 month of free rent. They will do paint and carpet. They will not negotiate rent.
Period.
But this is a good, clean space. Well, it looks like shit now, but
But
they'll fix
clean
it up.
Yeah. And they will do it.
They will do it.
Yeah.
They just don't do it on the front end.
Yeah.
And I felt like probably like 2012, I think Wiley Brothers was giving a tenant rep award out that year. I think I slammed like 7 people in their buildings.
Yeah. If you create the system, have the trust, right?
Yeah.
As we were talking about before, it all revolves around trust.
It does.
I mean, every young person I talk to this day, whether or not they're part of my team or not, it's like, get out, learn the people. You got to have a balance of life. So don't do what I did and work 80 hours a week and then go hit the bars playing with all your broker buddies until 1 o'clock, 2 in the morning, and then be back at the office at 6 a.m. wearing the same clothes. I don't recommend that to anybody.
Yeah.
It burns you out pretty quickly and ruins your family life, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't have a family when I was truly doing that, but it wasn't that much of a change.
Yeah.
But that creates that relationship where you can walk up and go, hey, Jeremy, I need a $6 rent. I need paint and carpet, 2 months free, 4% bumps, or back in those days, I don't think there were bumps. Yeah, just flat, and be done with it. And be like, hey, listen, and understand that neither of us are the ultimate decision maker.
Right.
There might be a tweak because you might find that guy that's like, no, I won't do it. I got to win. So the $4 is now $3.99.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
okay. Whatever.
Yeah. It was the good thing about those size deals, though, is no one negotiates lease terms typically.
No.
And
Well, they didn't.
they didn't.
I think they do now.
Yeah.
They sure tried to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think you know, it's funny. I had a broker show up on a small bay deal of mine to tenant rep our existing tenant. You know, he's doing his job, calling out there, and gets hired to do this. And you know, this is like a 5,000-foot tenant. He's like, "We're gonna get you CAM audit rights and all these things." I was like, "Hey, man, we ain't doing any of that.
That's not gonna happen, dude.
Like, nah." He goes, we got to get a security deposit reduced. And I was like, no. And, you know, it was funny because, you know, he did his job. He went and pitched all these things he was going to go fight for, and he tried. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, we're not going to do any of those. And the great excuse on that is go, hey, man, look, this is a park with 40 tenants in it. We're not going to keep up with your one lease that has caps and audits and all this stuff. I go, no. You can just leave. Like, we're just not going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they're like, okay, well, we'll sign it.
Oh, yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, hey, listen, you do realize that the operating expenses getting out of control affects the income of the property.
Yeah.
Like, I got to carry it when there's not a tenant paying it. And I got to compete with my neighbors, so you're going to gross that lease up for your operating side of the business.
Yep.
So when the expenses get out of whack, then my net proceeds are less. So the caps, whatever.
You know what's interesting about operating expenses is we've looked at, you know, we've bought buildings in Oklahoma. We've looked at buying in other states. Man, I'll tell you what, on the investment side, you're really fortunate to buy in Texas because of it being a non-disclosure state.
Oh.
And the real thing I've seen is like, if you go to another market that is disclosure and you don't understand the operating expenses of your competing properties, because you will be marked to market the next year. So if your underwrite doesn't have a full mark to market in the operating expenses, it's going to happen. And then are you going to be out of whack on a gross basis as you quote tenants?
With everybody else, yeah.
So you got to be real careful with that.
Lesson learned.
Mm-hmm.
Better learn it fast.
Yeah. So I haven't experienced the downside of that, but I had a great deal in Oklahoma City. And because it's disclosure state, like I was, you know, this property, it was on the tax rolls for like $1 million, but I was going to pay like $7 million. But the tenant had no pass-throughs on expenses of a base year. And I was like, y'all are screwed. Y'all are never selling this. And then they had like fixed renewals for like 20 years. I was like, you will own this the rest of your life.
Dude, well, I bought, I didn't buy it. I got a package of buildings, same scenario in Valwood years ago. Exact same setup. True absolute, no pass-throughs. I don't even think they were even doing operating expenses. They were just paying them. Bunch of different leases or buildings, probably 20 tenants, and it was just a mess. Like wrong square footages and wrong, like who's on first here? And I was like, dude, I don't have time to work on this. But I like half the real estate, so take it to Scott Gregory. And I said, Scott will dig in and fix all this stuff. So I convinced this broker at the time, like, he's like, man, I don't really know Scott. And I'm like, here, I'll get him on the phone right now. I'll make an introduction. You want to get this closed? He's a guy that will dig in on this stuff.
Yeah.
Because he's like a bloodhound once you set him to it. And he did. He ended up closing the 500,000-ish square feet.
Huh.
And, you know, some good, some bad. And I said, hey, Scott, I helped you out on this deal. So when it comes time for you guys to cycle out of this, I want the last look. And he was like, okay, that's easy. Thanks, Matt. And I'm like, sweet. 5-6 years roll around, ready to cycle out of them. He's like, which ones do you want? And I'm like, that one, that one, and that one. He goes, okay, it's going to be a competitive bid. So you've you got to pay the most, right? Or if not the most, then you're close. And so we did the whole bid process, and I own all the real estate that I wanted to own.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he fixed all the problems. So now he took his share of the juice on it,
Sure.
but
He did the work.
his share of the juice probably wasn't worth it. Like, there was a lot of
It's
effort.
a lot of work.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
So,
Cleaning up.
Yeah.
Cleaning up the clerical mess that is the
Oh.
value add portion is a.
dude, it's amazing how many people don't know how to paper some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Or maybe I've been trained too much. That could be a part of it too. Like watching every little dot, cross every T.
I think the other thing of it is go get your own education on it. There's so much out there now. You can just go. If you don't, I've always said this, if you don't know the answer, just make sure you looked it up on the internet first and made an attempt to learn it before you ask me.
Because it's there and it takes about 3 seconds.
Right.
It'll take you longer to type the question in.
Yeah.
Than it takes
And now
to
with
get the answer.
ChatGPT, it's like,
Dude. Which is a whole nother, like, I mean, it's not what this episode's about.
No,
right?
but that's
holy smokes. You want to talk about a game changer?
Yeah.
And it's not just going to be, it's going to be everything.
Everything,
So,
for sure.
like, I'm super excited about it. Also super scared.
Mhm.
Like,
100%.
I just left a economic forum with Mark Dodser, economist. He doesn't mess around. Like, he is very blunt, and he was not very excited about what's occurring at the Fed right now, which got announced this morning, right?
What
And,
I didn't hear that. What did they do?
Trump picked, I don't know, whatever the guy's name is, which is, probably going to be one of whatever Trump says.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which sometimes
Or
is a
it'll
good
be
thing, and
fired.
sometimes it's a bad thing. And
Right.
but you can't fire that guy, right?
Right.
That's 6 years
Yeah.
locked. So, yeah, he wasn't overly optimistic about all the AI stuff, like job losses and that sort of thing. It's going to be pretty scary.
Yeah.
There's going to be some serious pain.
Yeah. No, I mean, you hear that now. You heard there's several companies that have laid off like droves, and they said, oh, we just pushed it to AI,
15,000 here, 30,000 there.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah. No, it's real. It's, I don't know. I use it as much as I can. I use it to kind of have conversations, like ongoing conversations with it about building my team. Like, okay, like, hey, how do I talk to this person properly? Or,
And
motivate
it
this
works.
person? Yeah, it works for that stuff.
It's super interesting.
And it helps do some basic underwrite stuff too quickly. You got to check it. Sometimes it's wrong. Like it just misses numbers or it can't read the document perfectly.
Sure.
So you got to double check it. But I mean, a lot of lift done.
Dude,
So,
I haven't done any underwriting type stuff, but I run it by in scenarios like, hey, you're doing your decision tree, right? Ask
Yeah.
the question and look at it from every angle you can, which my wife hates.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's think about this.
I'm like, baby, I am really good at making decisions. I can make a decision. I can live with the outcome, whether it's the right decision or wrong decision. I know I made the decision based on thinking through it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so we're going to think through it and we're going to look at it every angle. But it does drive her nuts.
Yeah.
But I think it's what makes us good at our jobs,
Mhm.
right? Being able to
Think of
use
all
the
these-
tools, think through it, make a decision, and move on. Because I know plenty of people,
Can't make decisions.
they're not going anywhere.
I had a situation today, and I could just tell this person ended up saying, well, we're just not going to do anything. And I could tell that was because they didn't want to listen to me, because I think they felt like they were in a seniority place over
Sure.
me.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we're just going to do nothing. And in my mind, I'm going, you're doing nothing because you don't know what you're doing. So you're just reverting to doing nothing, which is fair, but you can tell. And so I think, there's a lot of personality types that make really quick decisions. And that's the way I am. Like if people come to me with a question, I will make a decision before they walk out of I don't wait very long.
Most of the time, you don't need to.
Most of the time you don't need to.
Yeah.
But ChatGPT has kind of helped me think through like where to place certain people doing certain things, how to,
skill sets.
Yeah.
and-
because what I'll do is I'll drop personality tests in there of all my employees and be like, hey, where this person's, lacking here. Like, what do I need to do to properly motivate them to get this done? So I use it for stuff like that.
So what does your personality test say about you?
I'm very direct. I'm very decisive. I don't have a lot of empathy. So
I have that on mine too.
Yeah. But I need, if you're going to bring me something, bring me the who, what, why, where, when, and how of it.
The facts.
Like, nothing's worse than getting, hey, this guy and some stuff. And I'm just like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah. Where are we going with this?
Yeah. I stopped for this. So like,
let's get to it.
Get on it, So that's something I have a real hard time with on my personality type is when someone brings me something incomplete, like an incomplete question, like,
and with no thought process to it. Yeah.
And so that's learning how to, I'm making all my employees have they go over each other's personality profile with each other so they understand how that person thinks.
Yeah.
And
so how they can interact with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't taken one since I got hired at CB. I found it 2 years ago when I was in the middle of a move, cleaning out files, and read it. And I was shocked because my 20-year-old self is not far 49-year-old self.
Yeah.
And all the stuff that it was saying about me were my struggles to today.
Yeah.
Like, I like facts. I can make a decision based on facts. When you bring emotion into the situation, I freeze.
Yeah.
I have very little empathy, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe we're sociopaths. I don't know.
I guess, yeah. And then I was either supposed to be a landscape architect or a rancher.
Mine never told me it doesn't tell you what you're good at, but, or like what fields would be good for you. But, I guess you could probably ask.
Yeah. This one listed it out, and it was like, and if you're not a landscape architect or a rancher or something in agriculture, because, I like to be outdoors. I think it's a great tool to have your other teammates share, right? There's that involves a lot of trust. I know I keep saying the word trust, but I mean, it is.
Well, and that's
important.
Well, what, something a buddy of mine always said was that transparency breeds trust. And so once they're very transparent with each other, then they can learn to trust each other.
Yeah.
So, that's been the most beneficial thing I think so far. And we're just getting through all those right now, but it's, and that's something I've had to learn how to do, just to be a leader, to have to be like, my job isn't as much to go hunt things down as it is to make sure the cooks are cooking it, properly. And so, that's hard for me,
because you are a hunter.
Yeah. It slows me down.
Yeah.
But I see the end goal of it's going to speed me up down the road.
Oh, by a
light years.
3, 4, 5, 6x. Yeah. Once it's all going.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's get back to your timeline.
Yeah. Where were we?
Weingarten.
Okay. Weingarten. Yeah.
So Weingarten decided.
So 6 years at Weingarten, it was awesome. Burning and churning deals, learning, having a close friend as your boss can be a blessing and a curse. And thank goodness in my scenario, it was a blessing. Learned a ton. Like, Lang, he's just awesome.
Yeah.
He's just a good person, and his brain is amazing. So learned a ton from him in that scenario. They decide to sell. They sell it to a different group. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Don't want to go with the portfolio. I had that opportunity to go lease the portfolio on a third-party brokerage standpoint. Nah, I've been doing this for 12, 13 years at this point. I'm not going to go lease 2,000 square feet and split fees. That doesn't work.
Nah.
So, yeah, because the compensation package at Weingarten was salary and bonus and stock and then a true fee.
Yeah.
Like same fees that you get today, but I didn't split them with anybody.
Yeah.
So I'd take home 6% on the gross. Like, well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right? So, and the timing was right there too. Like I talk about lucking out. Like think about 2007, 8, 9, when people were literally not closing a single transaction.
Mm-hmm.
All those larger tenants moved to the shallow bay product.
Yeah.
Like I literally had my best years.
Yeah.
All 3 of those down years were I was knocking it out of the park by a wide margin.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was very lucky timing.
Yeah.
And then when they sold that portfolio, I went to Lee and Associates and partnered up with Mark Grable, who's still a close friend of mine. Wasn't focusing on brokerage that much. I was doing like what I went back to my old CB days underneath Berger and Easterling.
Yeah.
Like, Mark, you go out and hunt and I'll close all the deals you want. I don't really want to do that. I want to go buy real estate. So I had all my other broker buddies had the understanding of you bring me a deal, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
And you pay the fee.
Yeah.
Like, or you get the fee.
Yeah.
I'm not taking one. So closed a couple of those. Adam Graham brought the first one. Tanner Road, Tanter Road.
Yeah.
Like a 30,000 square foot grade level metal building. I think we bought it for like 300 grand, somewhere right around there. This is like where the trust and like have conversations, right? Just get in there and talk. Like the tenant had been in the building for like 20 years. Never met the landlord. Always like a third party property manager. The tenant hated the owner for whatever reason. So we get the building under contract. I go talk to this guy, Mark Sutton.
Okay.
He's still there to this day. I don't know. He's a cabinetry business,
Yeah.
super high-end cabinets. I sit down with Mark, and he's pissed at me. And I'm like, hey, first of all, Mark, there's no reason to be mad at me.
Yeah.
I don't own the building yet. So what is the problem? I have been asking for that fence to be fixed, the fence and the gate, for like 7 years, and they won't do it. I'm like, okay. Anything else?
Anything else? Yeah.
Nope. And I was like, okay, so fix the fence. There's not a gate. And he's like, yeah, I want an electric gate so I can drive in and push a button. Okay. Like $5 grand. I think I'd budgeted like $80,000 or something like that for CapEx.
For
because
TI.
it's a dog building.
Yeah. He's like, that's it.
That's it. And I was like, okay, so you'll sign a 5-year lease, right? And here's your lease rate. And he's like, yeah, it's all good. So did seller financing on that deal at like 6% or something like that, which was market. But, doing seller financing, you remove a lot of the headache. So it was literally just get in there, close it, fix Mark's gate and fence. And then I think we were pulling out like $7,000 or $8,000 a month, like after debt service on that little building.
Shit.
I was like, that's so awesome. And then I don't know. I don't remember what happened, but Mark wants to buy the building 15, 18 months later. And I'm like, Mark, I really don't want to sell it because it's cash flowing. It's pretty awesome. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll sell it to you. Make me an offer and we'll talk. And so, 15, 18 months later, that $300,000 was like $1.5 million, something like that. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So
Done.
Yeah.
You're going to own this.
Yeah. So that was my first personal deal and by far my
Best one?
best. And dude, that's insane.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And a couple other little ones like that, but the returns
Yeah.
weren't quite like that.
Yeah. It's tough when you set the bar that high.
Dude, it hurt. And like at that point, Adam wasn't making that much money. So I think because I knew there was juice in there, I think I paid a full fee and a half. So I said half, like a regular fee is going to go into the deal. I'm going to put that in with our money, my money. And then I got to pay a brokerage fee to Lee and Associates. So everything's hunky dory there, whatever. We squared it all away.
Mm-hmm.
he got paid and he got to stay in the deal. So he was pretty happy about that too.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, man, I've had some deals like that. I wonder if it's, it's probably, you can really only do it on smaller deals like that too. I think because that's the stuff no one's looking at. Yeah.
You go big and then you're competing against everybody. There's
Yeah.
It's hard to make money in
The bigger stuff.
The bigger stuff. Because
Oh.
their sophistication level is just
Totally different.
totally different. There's so much competition.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, get offers on stuff weekly and I'm like, I don't even know who this is. And you look them up and it's, a $5 billion real estate company coming out of Florida or California or wherever. I mean, they're coming out of the woodwork. Yeah.
It's same thing in like iOS, man.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's doing it now. Like,
I don't know how you're going to make money. Like, it's tough. You want to talk about boots on the ground? You better be
yeah.
pounding doors, knocking on pounding the streets, knocking on doors.
Yeah.
Gonna have to edit that one out.
Man, I've just seen so many people get into it, and it's like they've ran the rates up so high, and
Well, and so you hit that point, right? Finding a tenant to go pay $20 a foot for a warehouse,
it's tough.
it's tough. They're going, no, I'm going to go build it myself. I'm going to go own it, buy it. Like, they don't want to pay that rent.
I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something else. I had a building under contract beginning of last year, and man, the rental rate I was having to achieve on it, it was a great shot. It was building on Harry Hines. Chris Wong was selling it to me. The rate we had to go achieve, and to his credit, I dropped it. He ended up getting the rate. So kudos to Chris. But I had a hard time believing in the rate that I had to get. And I had Alex Keaton at Stream had like a group that was, he told me what he was looking for. And I was like, dude, give me like 2 weeks. I got it. And it was perfect for him. Perfect. They wanted to do a 10-year deal. I think the rate just, they ended up renewing in like Waxahachie or something. And I'm like,
there's your alternative, right?
There's your alternative.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the one thing with everybody getting into iOS is like, I think they're going to start seeing people just like push back and just find an alternative. And the other thing is too, remember like back in the day, no one worked on iOS properties. Now every brokerage has an iOS team.
Yeah.
So the availabilities, there's a market now to go. You have options as a tenant.
It's a legit defined term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's I'm very selective on buying that stuff. Like it has to be.
Well, you figured out your program.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So
stick to it. Don't deviate from it because that's when you go get burned.
Yeah, absolutely. It's but I mean, golly, I see what some people are paying for that stuff, and I'm just like,
it's insane.
The differences too is like, some of those groups that I'm competing with now on that, like, I'm like, I'm competing against an acquisitions guy who has a mandate to get out however many dollars. And I'm like, he probably don't have a co-invest or a PG on this deal. And I do, so that's the tough part is seeing that, and having to compete with that. So,
well, I mean, the theory behind them, right? Or thesis, right? Like municipalities don't usually want them.
Yeah.
So if you can find them in the inner city, let's call it, or inside the loops, they're gold.
Yep.
But you can't pay full boat for them.
Yeah.
Because finding the right tenant for them,
right?
It's real. It's
well,
tough.
I think
they're not a dime a dozen type groups either.
Well, I think those tenants also have been running their business model on rent and revenue ratio that is getting really out of whack right now. So they are contracting the tenant bases a little bit.
Sure.
So,
well, yeah, when your rent used to be $3 and now it's 20, yeah, it's going to cause things to go out of whack. Yeah. But all warehousing right now, I think we're got to see the inflection point at some point. I thought we would have hit it a couple of years ago. Still, I mean, things have slowed. I think pockets have stopped the rental rate appreciation. But I think as a whole, and if you do the whole aggregate tire DFW market, you throw in the bombers, right? And those bombers in areas that in my opinion, maybe shouldn't have been built. And it's fine, go build one, don't build 6 of the exact same building.
Yeah.
I wish developers would stop that. Like learn to differentiate, maybe pump the brakes. You know, you don't need 6 million square footers all at the exact same specs when there are 2 users in the market that want to be there. Like, it's a lesson that it's not hard to figure out, but they haven't.
Yeah.
But you throw those into the market, and the rental rates probably have come down because those guys,
Those will drag it down
dude,
hard.
1 million square feet.
Do you see 1 million square feet just sold?
Which one?
Majestic building down in Hutchins.
Yeah, to ICE.
To ICE.
Dude, I saw. So I got told about that like a month ago, and then somebody told me the numbers, the amount of people they're going to put in that thing.
Like 9,500 people.
Yeah, it's a crazy number of people. It's like, holy cow.
Yeah, they ain't messing around.
Like,
yeah. It's crazy because I just wouldn't think that like they need 1 million square foot building for something like that. Yeah.
Dude, you never know what's going on in that stuff.
No.
Right. And it's not part of the GSA or whatever it's called, which I think is super interesting too. Like, you put it under a different department, so it's not under the control of the real estate.
Yeah.
Like that in itself makes me scratch my head. So.
Yeah. That's a
that's
a rabbit hole.
Yeah. It's my wife doesn't like me to go down those. Yeah.
So, okay. So you're at Lee, and then
where I'm at right now is MI Realty Partners.
Yeah.
So yeah, a guy, Mike Luck, called me up out of the blue. I wasn't looking to make a move.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'd heard your name a couple of times, and I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, awesome. I'm pretty happy, but next time you're in town, let's grab lunch, a beer, whatever. And he's like, okay. And so this is a Friday at like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm still at the office, right? Remember?
Yeah.
Talk about working too much. I think I was probably the only person in the entire real estate industry sitting behind their desk. He calls, like, hang up the phone. 10 minutes later, calls back. It's like, hey, surprisingly enough, I'm going to be there on Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so we Monday rolls around. I go have lunch with him. Lunch is at 11:30 at some place in Las Colinas that I'd never been. I was like, whatever. 4 o'clock rolls around. We're still sitting at the table, just doing this.
Yeah.
Right. And I got home, and wife at the time, and now my ex-wife, looks at me and goes, did you just close a big deal or something? Like, I had one of those grins on my face. I was like, I don't know, but I might be.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks later, I don't even know if it was a couple weeks, everything was so in line.
Yeah.
Personality-wise, how operations work, right? Trust and do your own thing. At this time, I didn't work real well as a team.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a team, but it was still me.
Mm-hmm.
So that took a little bit of adjustment for me. But like, literally, when I went up to Chicago to interview with the rest of the company, I was like, man, there's no way they're going to be like Mike. Like, they're fleecing me. I accepted the job thinking that there's a catch here.
Yeah.
Catch.
Yeah.
They're like the most incredible people I've ever met.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's super amazing.
And how long have you been there now?
I think it's 13 years.
Really?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be right. 2013. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I saw my like year 1 2013 picture.
Yeah.
Like for the website the other day. I was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
It's different. Yeah. I've grown up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm shaving.
Yeah. Man, I love that story. That story is fucking awesome.
Dude, it is.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. I do feel bad for that guy because he did. I mean, it wasn't because of me. The printing industry went out of business. But he didn't last that much longer.
Man, I'll tell you what, the printers got eviscerated in the GFC. I mean, there's so many printers down in Brook Hollow, and then just
Every other building was a printer.
golly,
Yeah,
it was crazy. I think there was 85 printers in that market before GFC.
What do you think it is today?
20.
20, 30? Yeah.
So, I mean, I felt like all I worked on was printing deals back in the day.
It's true.
All heavy power,
Which is what's needed now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody needs the power, and it's sure hard to get it.
Yeah, totally.
So those buildings are, if they've got the power, if it hadn't been stripped out by some goober copper thief.
And had that happen here recently. It
Really?
sucks. Had it happen. Had it happen I had a tenant in the building in Oklahoma City. It's a big tenant too, and I told them they vacated the building. They got term, and I was like, "Hey,
Put an alarm on it.
you better put an alarm on it."
Yeah.
Sure enough, they didn't listen to me. They just replaced the power. So it's
But I don't think insurance covers it.
we had one get hit, and insurance covered it. I think if you don't have an alarm,
They'll
they
say
cut
tough
our
luck.
alarm on one of them, and so they covered it because they got figured out how to get our alarm. We had a building we just sold in San Antonio, and the day after the buyer closed, he walks in, he goes, "Hey, the power's gone." I was like,
It's gone.
"Yeah."
Yeah.
And so we're
Not a breaker box issue.
yeah,
It's a
and,
wire issue.
Yeah, and they had instead of coming through the doors, they found a window that I guess we didn't have a contact on, and they came through the window.
That's types of stuff where you're like, is this like, come on, is
Yeah.
this inside?
Yeah,
Or you complete a remodel and the remodel's done,
yeah,
and then the next day
just ripped apart.
ripped. Yeah.
It's almost like you want to provide instructions for them how to create an anonymous account. We'll send you $5,000 not to do this.
Yeah, just take it.
Yeah, just take it because
That's what you're going to get.
what you're
going
to get for it.
Yeah.
And
I'll
compared to
save
what
you the
we're going to
trouble.
deal with
Yeah.
is not even close. So, well, you've answered a lot of my normal questions, and just by your years of
You prepped
story.
me well.
Yeah. But here's one I always like to ask.
Mhm.
Oh, this is a new one I'm asking.
Oh, okay. It's not on the list.
Well, you didn't get hired. I have this new question where I asked, have you ever been fired from an assignment?
I can't believe from an assignment?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was like, I can't believe you're asking me that question because I was staying away from that answer, but ever been fired from a job?
No, not a job.
Yeah.
Like a listing or something like that, or a tenant rep deal.
I think I've come close to getting sued on a tenant rep deal. Not my fault. Like goes back into that, like, shouldn't have trusted this guy.
Yeah.
Do a tenant rep deal. He's working for Jim Lake. He was my older stepbrother who we were talking about a few minutes ago or before this started. His best friend. So I had known him since I was like 5.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, hey, Taylor, you got this. Like, we're all signed. You're construction management, property manager. Get the paint and carpet done. Add the leveler. I'll see you in 60 days when we're moving in.
Yeah.
When we show up at 60 days, I meet my customer there. His trucks are literally at the dock doors. And Taylor hadn't done a single thing. Like, lights aren't on. Like, there's still stuff from the previous tenant in the building. It's like, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And my client, I mean,
Just came unglued.
oh my God. It was like, oh, I'm glad you work for CB. I think that came out of his mouth. Like, I'm coming, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that got smoothed over. I don't think I ever got fired from an assignment that I can think of. I know I fired a company.
Yeah.
Stuff from Brook Hall Regal Business Center.
Yeah.
It was, millions plus square feet of leasing for me
Man.
when I was a sophomore
Yeah.
in the business. And I was like,
Sounded great.
oh yeah, it should have been great.
Should have been.
But I
Golly.
was a bill collector, and that wasn't my job, and I couldn't get paid. I couldn't pay. If you were to bring me a deal, it'd be like, hey, Jeremy, just know you're gonna get paid, but it's gonna take a year.
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't work. So I just said, we're done. And we were handling management, asset management, the whole thing. And I was like, hey guys, I'm sorry, but I'm out. And it affected the rest of the team in like different areas, but. Dude, 1970s vintage, vantage built,
all
great,
over
all of them.
They got stuff all over the Metroplex, man.
Dude,
Like
bread and butter,
just,
baby. Bread and
man,
butter.
I don't understand that mentality at all. Like,
No, and it's different owners now apparently too, and they're like kind of operating it the same way. They're
Really?
not. They're paying bills,
yeah,
but they just suck it dry. Yeah, which I mean, okay,
yeah,
it's yours. Do what you want. But it's like, man, you're leaving a lot on the table. Like you can get more than $4 a foot for that space right now.
yeah.
Like way more, double it.
I guess they don't believe in math.
No, and you can. I mean, Phil Rosenfeld handles all their stuff right now, and
Yeah,
he just chugs along like
Yep.
this is what they want to do.
yep.
Like okay,
It is what it is. He knows. He knows what to expect.
yeah. I don't think I've ever actually been fired from a deal. Have you?
Yeah.
I could see you telling someone to fuck off, and it might be more mutual than getting fired, though.
Yeah. No, I've been fired. You know what I seem to always get fired on was 12-foot clear buildings. It's impossible.
Or to get them leased?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want a
Yeah.
tenant. You need to sell this thing. That's about the only person that wants it.
Yeah,
That's
that's true.
I felt like I got fired today on a deal, playing about the fees.
Oh.
I go, you negotiated the fees and then signed the document. Like you literally negotiated them.
Yeah.
And we agreed to this reduced fee.
Yeah. And still doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. Like, well, we don't want to pay anything. I'm like,
Yeah, that doesn't work.
I
Like,
don't understand the math here,
here, the thought process.
Yeah.
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 That's why I said I would never do another retail deal.
Yeah.
I did my first one. Transaction went completely smooth, no problems. And then when it came time to getting a fee, the guy was like, "Oh, we don't pay fees." And I was like, well, "It's been in every single document." He was like, "Well, was it in the lease document, or do you have a commission agreement?" And I was like, "I've never had a commission agreement. We have discussions and you get paid." And he was like, "Well, not this time. Go to your client." And I was like, "Okay." And I got paid. He paid me something. And then I said, "I'll never do it again." And then a buddy came and was like, "Hey, can you help me out with this retail deal?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't want to." And this one was where I learned like retail is brutal. There's 4 people in a transaction. There's a landlord broker, the tenant broker, the landlord, and the tenant. And I realized that all 4 people wanted in everybody else's pocket.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, like, I don't have any money to give you. Like, why are you trying to come after me? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, never got paid on that deal either. So now it's official. I will never do another retail deal. He says a broker.
I did one retail deal, and after it was over, I really got my ass handed to me in the lease. I was like, I don't, and they didn't want to use an attorney. They wanted me to do it, and I was just like,
nope.
I was like, I don't, this is a different type of lease. So I just referred them out now.
There's a lot of different stuff in that lease document.
Totally.
Things that happen, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's not as terrifying as I thought it was.
It's not bad.
Just
It's
getting
just a
in here.
conversation.
Just got to get used to
Yeah.
to
Yeah. You
this.
gotta get this down, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
We'll
yeah.
do it again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the fun part is like now I'm starting to have recurring people come back on, and it's great to just get perspective at that point. This first episode's always about like your story.
Sure.
Then the next time it's all about just real estate and shit, So
Dude. There's a lot of real estate and shit.
Yeah.
I promise you that.
Yeah. So, but well, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, Matt Smith, everybody. So
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks.